This program is brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana. Welcome to First Issues. We're still on track to bringing you insightful conversations with entrepreneurs from all sectors of the economy, whose journeys invoke a sense of courage to not be afraid to charter the uncertain entrepreneurship waters. These stories are of people who, even when faced with difficult circumstances from every aspect of their lives, don't give up, but instead use those misfortunes as fuel to keep going. On the program this evening, we have Kelebogile Mokgware, who's the director of Jullies Security Services, which is a security services company currently providing guarding services to various industry clients in and around Greater Gaborone. Kelebogile started Jullies Security Services following a time when her personal life was falling apart. She narrates that she had a thriving career in the financial services industry and had started her own family. It was all seemingly perfect until a curveball threw her for a loop. Her marriage ended and nothing made sense anymore. She left her employment and then went back home to her parents to recalibrate. It was during that time that she used her wits to start the security services company, having graduated from the University of Botswana and Stellenbosch with qualifications in public administration and project management and employment experience in the financial services sector, where she worked closely with business development and customer relations management. This seemed like the next natural step. 3 years later, Jullies Security Services has grown to now have a staff complement of 60 and serves 8 clients in the Greater Gaborone area. Here is our conversation with Kelebogile. Kelebogile, thank you so much for coming on First Issues and affording us your time. We're here today to talk to you about Jullies Security Services, which is your enterprise, right? Tell us about what the motivation behind this was.
Thank you so much for having me. Very funny story though. I really wasn't one to find myself looking to have a security company. It just landed on my lap. I was transitioning through life, marriage, a career rut. And so I got divorced, had to leave everything behind and start afresh. It was quite challenging because I had no idea where I was going, how I was going to do it, but by the grace of God and support of family and friends, I was able to center myself and really have an opportunity to do something out of my league.
In all of that, how were you able to navigate the challenges that came with trying to run a new enterprise and then also dealing with your own personal struggles?
It really was quite challenging, I will not lie. Having to now avail my time 24 hours, because this is a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365 day business. So transitioning from something as painful and taxing as divorce to now having to jump into a field that requires you to always be on your toes, know what you're doing. It was quite a bit of work. I went in this business with no knowledge of security. My background is in economics, public administration, as well as the financial service industry. So I literally jumped into this field unaware, blind as a bat. And so I had to learn the business as I was going. So that meant doing research, having to speak to other people who are in the business to find out how they handle or operate the business as well, or those who are willing to help anyway. The first year of us operating was literally me hitting and missing. It was the worst. It was the worst. I had countless days where I questioned, why am I doing this? Do I need to be doing this? So I had to lean in on strength from myself, from family, from friends, and really just knowing that this is a challenge, it'll pass through. This is just a phase. And surely after the first year passed, things started getting better. I now know a lot more about the business.
I want to pick some more at the why part of it, right? you do say that you were questioning why you were doing it. And I'm sure at this point, 3 years later, you've arrived to your answer. So why do you keep doing what you're doing, in spite of all of these challenges that you spoke of?
I think I have a calling to just be of service to the community. It really warms my heart having my employees just being so grateful of how well we treat them, and also just knowing that I'm able to impact Botswana's life, ensuring that they contribute to the economy as well, and to themselves, because these are people who do so much for us. I mean, we might regard them as just, people who open the gate or ensure that the doors are locked, the windows are secure, but they really do ensure that everything that we need in our lives run smoothly. And so for me, knowing that I can help impart some form of encouragement, some form of life into who they are, it does warm my heart. So I view this more as community service, if anything. Yeah.
I want you to talk about some of the learnings that you've come out with during this journey that you've employed and continue applying to the business during this journey of entrepreneurship. What have been some of them?
This company, 3 years ago, I had no financial backing from any institution. Everything came from pocket. So I would say resilience is one of the things that has really helped build who I am as a human, because it takes a lot of grit maneuvering such a business, because we do have days where clients are not compliant with payments, and so you need to make a plan into sustaining the business. Also confidence, because I'm in a very ageist and misogynistic industry. Very few of us are female-led or female-owned. So I've had to walk into a room and really be like, okay, girl, you got this. Pay no attention to naysayers and focus on what it is you came to do.
Even in the face of adversity, always trust that you have the ability to rise from whatever misfortunes and come out on the other side even stronger. Kelebogile Mokgware is the epitome of never giving up on yourself, especially as an entrepreneur. And hopefully that gives you the courage you may have needed to keep trying. Well, let's go for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned to the program.
Bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala go duela metsi.
Mama, ka mala jana ha o tlhoka le go tsamela kgakala gore go duela metsi. FNB re diretse tiro motho.
Senthe.
Ma kwa go marekisetsong a ile gore ana le tshwala FNB Cash Plus. Se se tlhokanyela ke o mang wa gago mo tirisong le reference number e bon dinomoro tse diriswang go ruragatsa dituelo tsa gago.
FNB what?
FNB Cash Plus.
Madonna makante ke ngonto sampolele ka mananeo ya FNB ya Cash Plus.
La ha re le nna ke gone go utwang ka dona ebile ke ne ke sa dumele.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity and many more.
FNB. Dona. Nyawa ene ke ra sa thare. Mpare mo tiki. Na ke ra go motho ya la mamarapedi o tola sekontere hela o bua go semosong wa go duela semosong manane wa FNB Cash Plus.
FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome back to First Issues. Entrepreneurship is one such undertaking that is greatly unpredictable from beginning to end. It presents with it a myriad of issues from time to time, but seldom issues that cannot be overcome. On this segment, we discuss some of those issues with entrepreneurs who went through them and how they navigated that tricky part of that journey. This evening, we are in conversation with Kago Dichabe, who is the founder and managing director of CK Foods, manufacturers of Dairyland yogurt and granola. This undertaking was established in 2022, just after the pandemic, and is based a few kilometers from the capital city in Enkhukhweni. Kago started his entrepreneurial journey at just 18 years old when he was making breakfast parcels for sale while also working as a shelf packer at one of the largest supermarkets in the country. With his income, he set up CK Foods and has since grown in leaps and bounds as a small business owner. With easy access to information and growing pressures to increase income in many households, there have been other players in the market doing what he does. This decreases market share, increases competition for human capital, and puts pressure on all players to be highly competitive with their products. How has Kago navigated these challenges, and how does he intend on sustaining his enterprise? We're going to have this talk with Kago. Kago, thank you so much for coming on First Issues, affording us your time. We're here today to talk about your journey, right, as a young entrepreneur. Let us start first by understanding Helaga CK Foods. What was the motivation behind CK Foods?
Before starting this business, I was working in one of the biggest retailers in Botswana. So while working there, I noticed that there are a lot of products abroad. And so I moved shelf by shelf, looking for products that I can venture into. But when I got to the dairy section, I got to realize that there was only one company competing with foreign brands. That's when I started doing research and I fell in love with the production of yogurt.
That is amazing, but you are actually competing with bigger brands that are internationally recognized. So I want to believe that is one limitation in this market that you've entered into. But I would like for you to speak some more on those. What have been some challenges, limitations, hurdles that you have had to contend with in this journey?
I would like to start with a shortage of raw materials. At the beginning, I was struggling to get raw materials for my production, especially certain ingredients. So I had to source them outside of the country, which was expensive. And then the second challenge was I didn't start with enough capital, so I was struggling to sustain the business.
How have you been able to move away from, focusing on the challenges to now being still here?
I believe I was called to be an entrepreneur. So I would say it was more of, I was focusing more on the passion than the challenges I had. I joined the program, tried to learn entrepreneurship. I applied for the funding to be able to get those raw materials, to be able to get people work for me, to be able to sustain the business.
What is your intention as far as making sure that the business is self-sustaining?
Firstly, I would say getting the right people, getting the right team. It's one of the things that will lead to a sustainable business. Having people people who can carry the vision of your company. Secondly, I would like to emphasize relationships with suppliers. It's one thing that contributes a lot in business. Like at times you can, when you have a strong relationship with a supplier, you can negotiate price. That means your production cost.
So in the end, what would you say has been the biggest lesson or a big takeaway for you that you continue to apply to not only your daily life but also your journey in entrepreneurship especially?
I would say being a teachable soul. You have to adapt. So you have to be in a position where you can learn rapidly. You can adapt and be able to change. So being a teachable soul is one thing that has helped me to get where I am and has helped the business highland thing. So in terms of running my business, I would always emphasize having employees that are willing to learn, because if someone is willing to learn, they can use I would say sustainable approach to handling situations. They get to study the market. In the next 10 years, dilo di changile. I'm used to doing this. Like that person can adapt.
Having a teachable spirit is a common theme for a few of the entrepreneurs we've had on the program, so it would be wise to adopt the same mindset as Kago Dichabe has shared if you are to go the long haul on your journey. With that, we go for commercial break, but do stay tuned to First Issues.
Bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala go duela metsi.
Mama, ka re male jana ha o tlhokana le go tsamela kgakala gore go duela metsi. FNB re diretse tiro motho. Emma kwa go marekisetsong a ile gore ana le tshwao la FNB Cash Plus. Se se tlhokanyela ke o mang wa gago mo tirisong le reference number e bong dinomoro tse diriswang go ruragatsa dituelo tsa gago.
FNB what?
FNB Cash Plus.
Madonna makante ke ngontso sampolele ka mananeo a FNB ya Cash Plus.
La ha re le nna ke gone go utwang ka dona ebile ke ne ke sa dumele.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity and many more.
FNB.
Dona. Nyawa ene ke ra sa thara. Mpare motiki. Na ke ra go motho hela mamarapedi. O tola skontere hela. O bua go semosong wa go duela semosong. Manane wa FNB Cash Plus.
FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome back to First Issues. This segment has highlighted that one of the biggest challenges that entrepreneurs encounter is a lack of access to funding. This could be due to a plethora of reasons, one of them being a lack of financial records and history, resulting from being unbanked. This makes it nearly impossible for financiers to extend capital, as having no documented financial behaviors makes you high risk. To solve for this, our guest Shine Munyati developed Ipachi Capital, a fintech solution that was crafted with SMEs and the informal sector in mind, to help them track spending, to show financial history, to help them build credit scores and have access to working capital financing. As an entrepreneur looking to formalize processes within your enterprise, how exactly does Ipachi work?
I decided to do a survey with my team, and we realized that millions of small businesses in the informal sector, they don't have access to opportunities like those in the formal sector so that they can thrive. Opportunities, for example, getting access to credit, which will provide them with an opportunity to buy more inventory, to buy new equipment, or to expand their businesses. So that became a pain point where we focused our energy at, and we built the technology in order to solve that problem for them. We give these customers or small businesses a mobile application called Ipachi. Ipachi is a Kalanga name, it means a wallet. So with this mobile app, small businesses, for example, in a case study or scenario where you run a tuck shop, the tuck shop owner is able to load their inventory into the mobile app. All the products that they're selling, they're able to load them into the mobile app. And as customers come and make those cash purchases, the small business owner will be able to keep a record of everything that has been sold in the business. And as the customer does that record keeping on the platform, our algorithms will automatically generate what we call your income statement, your balance sheet, and your cash flow statement based on just entering the records of what you have sold. And then based on those financial statements that our algorithms will automatically generate for you, then the system on its own does what we call a credit worthiness check to determine how much of a cash loan that you can qualify for as a small business owner based on your historic transactional data. So with that data, small businesses have a chance now to go to financial institutions to evidence that this is how my business is doing in terms of sales, in terms of profit, and then they're able to
validate their ask for microloans or working capital loans. Beyond that, with the mobile application, customers can sell what they commonly are used to, things like selling airtime, selling electricity, and paying DSTV payments using the platform. That data forms part of our inbuilt credit scoring model, which enables us to understand more data and for the system on its own to understand better the risk appetite of the small businesses.
Shine says they not only developed the solution, they also made sure it is easily accessible and affordable for all those needing it, especially in areas that are typically underserved.
You know what we do at Ipachi, because I have lived this pain as well, and I understand financial inclusion because I've seen it in real time. What we have decided to focus on is affordability for our customers. When we design our solutions, we need to make sure that our customers can be able to afford them. This is why when you look at our business model, we provide mobile devices for customers to use. They don't have to buy them because maybe they don't have the financial muscle to do so. So we have a subscription-based model. When a customer wants to use Ipachi and they don't have access to finances to purchase devices, we provide them with mobile devices which are pre-installed with the mobile app through our starter kit. And then they're able to use the devices and only pay what we call 120 pula per month. So with 120 pula per month as a monthly subscription, the customer has a mobile application which is in the smartphone, and then it also have a SIM card which is zero-rated in terms of data connectivity. So they don't have that barrier in terms of not affording a smartphone to utilize our features. We want to get to a position where we have empowered small businesses so that they are able to stand on their own. We want to have empowered more women, to be able to have successful stories to share with the world. We want our impact to be felt in terms of how we help them to be able to grow thriving businesses. Currently, our engineering team is working on a mobile point of sale device, which is a biometric point of sale device. With this device, we are able to help these small businesses to accept payments so that we use the data with the existing data that we have to enhance our credit scoring capabilities to understand the risk of these businesses much better. So with this biometric device that we're currently working on, we would be looking forward to working with financial institutions such as First National Bank through their e-wallet products, for example, so that people can be able to integrate the FNB e-wallet with our Ipachi biometric device to be able to make payments wherever they go and be able to leverage the data to do what we call a better enhanced credit scoring capabilities for these businesses. So we're looking at a future where we are able to improve our accuracy in terms of making better decisions, in terms of how much and how we give these businesses microloans.
In the end, problems, no matter what they are, have solutions. It is up to you as an entrepreneur to seize and exploit every opportunity available to solve yours, and solve successfully and productively. With that, we have come to the end of tonight's installment of First Issues. Until next time, good night. This program was brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.